It all began on a bright Friday morning at JFK Airport, the kind of day where people buzz around like ants, each chasing their own destinations when Maya Johnson, a radiant young black woman 7 months pregnant, walked carefully through the bustling terminal holding her small carry-on bag close to her side, her free hand resting instinctively on her belly, as if to shield the life inside from the chaos of the world. Her flight was bound for Atlanta, where her mother had planned a small baby shower for her, and she couldn't wait to see family again. But little did she know that the most humiliating and infuriating moment of her life was waiting for her just before boarding. Now here's where you, the audience, must lean in, because what unfolds is not just another travel inconvenience, but a raw, ugly snapshot of racism that still lingers in places we least expect. And before I dive deep, don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch till the end, because trust me, the way this story flips in the final act is something you don't want to miss, and it's the kind of poetic justice that'll make you shake your head and smile at the same time. The hook? Picture this. Maya is patiently standing in line, her back aching, sweat prickling at her temples from both the pregnancy heat and the pressure of carrying her own bags, when a tall, thin white woman in her late 40s, with sharp cheekbones and a smug tilt to her lips, the flight attendant in charge of boarding this gate, locks eyes on Maya, scanning her from head to toe with the kind of disdain you'd expect from someone who's convinced they run the world. Her name tag read Rebecca, but the passengers would later whisper another name for her, one they spat with disgust. Rebecca first raises an eyebrow, then leans toward another attendant and mutters something under her breath, loud enough for Maya to catch the phrase, "These people always try to bring too much on board." Maya breathes deeply, brushing it off, whispering to herself, "Focus. Girl, just get to your seat, you'll see Mama soon." But as Maya finally reaches the gate with her ticket extended, Rebecca snatches it with unnecessary force, scanning it with a dramatic sigh, then barking, "You can't board with that bag, rules are rules." Maya, calm but firm, replies, "Ma'am, this bag is within size. It's just my essentials, medication. Baby stuff." Rebecca sneers, "I don't care. Don't argue with me. People like you always think you're special." That phrase, "people like you," burns in Maya's ears, but she stays calm, her inner monologue reminding her that her unborn child doesn't need stress. She tries to walk past, but Rebecca suddenly extends an arm to block her chest, stepping closer and hissing, "Don't you dare ignore me when I'm speaking." The crowd stiffens. Tension ripples through the passengers, and a few phones discreetly rise to record. Then in an unbelievable escalation, Rebecca raises her hand and slaps Maya across the cheek, the sound cracking in the air like a whip. Gasps erupt. Maya staggers back, clutching her belly instinctively, whispering in shock, "You didn't just—" But Rebecca, standing tall, declares loudly, "This passenger is being aggressive, she needs to be removed." The audacity, the reversal. It was as if Rebecca rehearsed this manipulation before. Passengers murmur, some stepping forward to defend Maya, others frozen in disbelief. And here's the mid-story rehook. One man in a gray hoodie steps forward, shouting, "She's pregnant!" She did nothing wrong. "I've got it all on video." Now the tide shifts, whispers growing louder. "Fire her. Call the police." What's happening? Maya, cheeks burning with humiliation, feels tears rising but refuses to cry in front of this woman. Then the irony of fate steps in. Her husband, David Johnson, was on his way to the same gate after a board meeting in the airport's executive lounge, wearing his tailored Navy suit, scrolling through his phone, unaware of the storm unraveling. David is no ordinary husband. He's the CEO and principal shareholder of the very airline Rebecca worked for, a fact Rebecca was seconds away from wishing she knew. He rounds the corner, sees his wife trembling, holding her cheek, strangers surrounding her in protective outrage. He freezes, fury rising in his chest, and asks with controlled calm, "Maya, what happened?" She breaks at that moment, her voice trembling. "She hit me. Said I was aggressive." Rebecca, not realizing who he was, rolls her eyes and smirks. "Sir, if this is your wife, she was out of control. I was just enforcing policy. Maybe teach her how to behave." The passengers collectively gasp. One woman even shouts, "Oh no, she did not just say that." David steps closer, his voice dangerously low. "Do you know who I am?" Rebecca crosses her arms smugly. "Doesn't matter who you are. Rules are rules." David pulls out his ID card, the one that reads David Johnson, Chief Executive Officer. The room falls silent, jaws drop, a few people audibly gasp. Rebecca's smirk falters, her face draining of color, eyes widening as if she'd seen a ghost. David's voice booms, now echoing in the gate. You assaulted my wife, the mother of my child, on my airline. Security rushes in, thinking they're handling a passenger dispute, only to freeze when they recognize David. Phones are recording everything now. TikTok captions already writing themselves. Flight attendant hits pregnant black woman. Husband turns out to be CEO. Rebecca stammers, Sir, I didn't know. But David cuts her off. Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know her worth unless you knew her connections? You thought you could humiliate her because of her skin? Because you thought she was powerless? His voice shakes with fury. Rebecca tries one last desperate angle. She was disrespectful, I was only protecting the flight. Passengers shout back, Liar! We saw everything. It's all on video. A teenage boy even yells, World Star, which oddly breaks the tension with a ripple of laughter. But David's glare keeps the seriousness razor sharp. Now comes the final rehook. David, with a chilling calm, turns to the head of security and says, Escort her out. She's terminated effective immediately. Rebecca sputters, You can't. But before she can finish, David adds, And I'll make sure the industry knows exactly why. You'll never work in aviation again. Gasps and murmurs flood the gate. Rebecca is escorted away, her once smug posture collapsing into a hunched mess. Maya exhales shakily, finally sinking into a chair, passengers surrounding her with support, offering water, tissues, murmuring words like, We're so sorry. You didn't deserve this. One elderly woman pats her hand, whispering, You held your dignity, honey. She can't take that from you. David kneels in front of Maya, pressing his forehead gently to hers, whispering, I've got you. She'll never hurt anyone again. And in that moment, justice didn't just feel legal or corporate, it felt poetic, righteous, something the whole room witnessed together. As the flight finally boarded under a new attendant, the story spread online like wildfire. Justice for Maya trending within hours. By the time they landed in Atlanta, Rebecca's name was plastered across headlines, her face in shame, while Maya walked into her baby shower surrounded by love, respect, and the knowledge that she had stood tall in the face of hatred. And here's the irony that sealed it. Rebecca's desperate apology email later leaked, where she begged for forgiveness, claiming stress made her act out. But the world wasn't buying it. In the end, it wasn't just about one slap. It was about exposing the ugliness of racism and reminding everyone watching, from passengers to viewers on Rayan Review 2.0, that justice sometimes arrives in the most unexpected ways, served cold, clear, and undeniable.